Formula One fans, Ferrari is arriving at Spa with an absolutely insane technical arsenal, and Mercedes is starting to sweat. The SF-26 has grown by a full 0.8 of a second per lap compared to its launch specification, thanks to the two major aerodynamic packages introduced at Miami and Barcelona. That is a staggering number in a championship where the gap between pole position and 10th place is often less than 0.8 total. And on top of that already remarkable figure, you have to add the A-Duo 1-power unit upgrade introduced in Austria, worth around 9 additional horsepower, the software update from Barcelona that unlocked advanced hybrid deployment modes, and the energy management improvement that Charles Leclerc introduced from the very first Friday at Silverstone, which applies to every single circuit remaining on the calendar. And now, heading into Spa, there is an evolved engine mapping estimated to add 11 kilometers per hour, an exhaust configuration that recovers 7 horsepower through the removal of the FTM, weather forecasts calling for rain that would amplify every strength of the SF-26, and a third, extremely heavy aerodynamic package already in preparation for Zandvoort on August 23rd, with the A-Duo 2 turbocharger upgrade expected at Monza. Mercedes has officially changed its plans, pivoting from freezing development after the summer break to committing to a second significant update package. Jerome D'Ambrosio, very much at home at Spa, wasted no time throwing down a challenge to Mercedes, while Vasseur is preaching squad unity. If you do not want to miss a single update on Ferrari and Formula One, drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel to stay in the loop. Now let us get straight into the detailed analysis. Let us start with the extraordinary development story that is redefining this entire season. At the beginning of 2026, the SF-26 was not a championship-winning car by any stretch. It was a promising machine, quick through corners, innovative in concept, but built on a development philosophy that Loic Serra had described with unusual clarity even before the opening race. His message was simple. The SF-26 is a base platform, and we have deliberately left ourselves room to grow. Back in March, that philosophy sounded a little optimistic. But then Ferrari started hammering. The two update packages introduced at Miami and Barcelona were among the most comprehensive aerodynamic steps any team has brought to a single weekend in 2026. And together they improved the SF-26 by around 0.8 of a second compared to the launch specification. 0.8 in a championship where the gap from pole to 10th is typically under 1 second. That alone is a stunning figure, but that number does not even account for the other heavy cards Ferrari has been playing. On top of those 0.8, you have the A-Duo one introduced in Austria, worth around 9 horsepower through a revised combustion chamber and a new Shell fuel formula. In Austria, the benefit was not immediately visible due to altitude and temperature conditions, but at Silverstone it finally showed up, giving Ferrari its first top speed advantage on a straight of the entire season. Then there was the software update accompanying the A-Duo one, unlocking energy deployment modes the car had never used before. And finally, the hybrid energy management improvement that Leclerc implemented from the very first Friday at Silverstone, an improvement that carries over to every remaining circuit. 0.8 of aerodynamics, 9 horsepower from the engine, advanced deployment, optimized hybrid management across all tracks. That is the complete picture. And now we get to the most striking consequence of this Ferrari growth. Mercedes had planned to completely halt development of its 2026 car right after the summer break, redirecting all resources toward the 2027 machine, which will race under unchanged power unit regulations. It was a deliberate strategy designed to build an advantage heading into the next technical cycle. But that strategy absolutely did not account for a Ferrari development program capable of delivering 0.8 in just a handful of races. When Toto Wolff made his very public comments about the pace of Ferrari's updates, he was not making casual observations. That was the visible expression of a growing concern inside Brackley. The revised Mercedes plan now calls for continued development, with a second significant package expected after the break. And that is not a sign of strength. That is a sign that Brackley has done the math on the standings. Now let us look at what Maranello is preparing for the immediate future. The third major aerodynamic package is being built with Zandvoort on August 23rd as its target, the first race right after the summer break. Diego Tondi was already present at Silverstone overseeing operations, and multiple Italian technical sources have confirmed the Dutch debut. The package will be on the same scale as Barcelona and Austria, a comprehensive revision across multiple areas of the car, not a circuit-specific adaptation. Zandvoort was chosen because its medium-high downforce profile and mixed-speed corners will allow the aerodynamic upgrades to fully demonstrate their value, without being immediately compromised by the long straights of Spa and Monza. Then comes the Aduo 2 on the turbocharger, featuring an unchanged impeller but revised blade count, angle, and advanced materials. It is expected either at Zandvoort or directly at Monza, with the Monza option looking increasingly likely since Monza is the most engine-sensitive event of the entire season. Now let us talk about the weekend itself. Spa-Francorchamps, to put it plainly, could be a tricky venue for the Scuderia. The long, ultra-high-speed sections are the real challenge because top speed is still a weak point of the SF-26. The setup window will be very narrow, and finding the ideal balance will be genuinely complex. That said, the car boasts strong traction and excellent cornering speed, qualities that will be pushed to the maximum in the second sector, with its mix of medium and high-speed curves including Pouhon and Blanchimont. The circuit stretches 7 kilometers, making it the longest on the calendar, featuring the iconic Eau Rouge Radillon sequence and the famous Kemmel Straight. And the weather factor is enormous. The sheer length of the track encourages different microclimates, with one sector potentially wet while another remains completely dry. Now we get to the hottest technical debate of the weekend. Over the past few days, there has been an intense discussion around Ferrari's FTM system and whether it will be used or not. We are talking about an element that generates significant downforce but also creates substantial aerodynamic drag, particularly when the engine revs climb and exhaust gas flow reaches its peak. The debate started because in the first free practice session in Austria, Ferrari tested Dino Beganovic's car with the FTM removed, and looking at the telemetry, it was clear that without the system, Beganovic was losing an average of 4 kilometers per hour through every corner, while the straight-line gain was far less pronounced. Maranello's engineers are searching for the perfect compromise between aerodynamic efficiency, drag reduction, and rear-end stability. And the final call will be made at the very last moment. And there is a technical element here that could genuinely decide the outcome of the weekend. At Spa, the superclipping phenomenon will be very pronounced, meaning the electrical energy available will not be enough to cover the full lap development. Ferrari has a challenge in the deployment phase, but no particular issues on the energy recovery side. This is exactly where sharp differences between teams could emerge, and it mirrors precisely what happened at Silverstone, where Ferrari ran a completely different hybrid map compared to Mercedes, countering effectively across the long English straights. If Mercedes cannot optimize its energy performance at Spa, it could struggle badly, and Ferrari, with its different hybrid approach, has a very powerful weapon ready to use. Let us close with the key words from Ferrari's leadership. Vice Team Principal Jerome D'Ambrosio is very much at home for the Belgian weekend and expressed his pride in the historic connection. His words were clear and warm. For me, it is always a pleasure to come back to Spa-Francorchamps, not only because I am Belgian, but also because this is one of the most iconic and fascinating circuits on the calendar. This country holds a special place in Ferrari history. The prancing horse made its racing debut right here at the 24 Hours of Spa in 1932, taking a 1-2 finish. D'Ambrosio then delivered a pointed message, saying the victories at Barcelona and Silverstone reflect the progress the whole team has made, that the pace of development is a central element in this championship, and that they are working hard. With these cars, he said, small details can make a very big difference. Fred Vasseur echoed that sentiment, emphasizing unity. We know we can count on a tight team and two drivers who work very well together and push each other to be better.